Poetry Slam. How is everyone doing today? Good. That's wonderful to hear. It's really wonderful to be on stage for you guys. My name is Ella Paul.
My name is Nandita,
and we are going to be your MCs and hosts
for tonight's event.
Yeah, so hopefully the actual poetry will be a little better coordinated than that, but I have a lot of faith in our actual poets. They've worked incredibly hard to not only create original poetry, but also today they're going to be reciting it for you. So let's just give them the round of applause that they deserve.
By the end of tonight, we're going to get to know each other very well. So, to start off, let us tell you a bit about ourselves. So, my name is Nandita, as I said before, and one of my favorite things in this world is Pokemon. I just love everything about Pokemon. Its lore, its design, the competitiveness of it. In addition to that, I just love learning a lot about STEM subjects, so like math, science, and computer science.
And my name is Ella Paul, so I'm a senior here at JP, which means I'm going to be going to college in the fall, and there I will be studying business and, of course, English, because I really love English and literature and poetry especially. Anyone from like Maggie Smith to Sylvia Plath has me really excited, and that's almost why I'm so excited and really looking forward to tonight's performances. However, before we can get into the actual poetry slam, there are a few ground rules that we need to go over. So, who here has been to a poetry slam before? Okay, so not a whole lot of you, but don't worry, the rules are pretty simple. When you're really enjoying the flow of a certain poem, be it the groove or the rhythm or just the diction, please snap your fingers to show your support. We also encourage the occasional and an occasional yas, if that's what it takes to show your support. We also ask that you turn off any devices that you may have, keep them silent, we don't want to disturb the flow, and of course, really make sure that you're being supportive and encouraging, because it takes a lot of strength and fortitude to come up here and share your truth. And we want to be as supportive to our poets as we possibly can.
So now, a little bit about the Poetry Performance Club. We believe in the power of spoken words and the art of sharing our experiences with others. We aim to inspire change in society through the power of poetry, and to create a supporting community built around words. Our mission is to create a platform for the students of JP Stevens to express themselves through performance poetry. Our theme for this year's Poetry Slam is hope. We encourage our poets to experience this theme through reflections, scenarios, moments, and stories to showcase this idea of hope. Hope can come in many different forms, with many different textures and shapes, with countless different meanings for everyone. Our poets tonight will explore beautiful and inspiring aspects of this idea.
And before we officially begin, I would like to introduce our official tallier for the night, Anusha Porwal.
Hi, I'm Anishka. I'm a freshman here at JP, as well as a member of the Poetry Performance Club. I'm also this year's tallier. I will be adding up the poets' points at the end of each round so they can get their scores back as soon as possible. The poets will be assessed on their writing, performance, and stage presence. And at the end of the show, we'll be awarding a first, second, and third prize winner. Good luck!
So now, let's introduce our judges. Our first judge of the night is the wonderful Mrs. Solak. Next up, we have the brilliant Mr. Alfonso. We also have the multi-talented Mrs. Brenda Kaur. Joining us today is also the inspiring Mrs. Crawling. And finally, we have the fantastic Mr. Robinson. Let's all give one final round of applause to our judges.
All right, and now that we're all on the same page, let's get this show started. Please turn off your cell phones, sit back and relax, and get excited. And let's hear a final round of applause for our poets. All right, our first poet of the night is going to be Tanishka Dhake, who will be reciting the poem Light and Dark.
Hi, I'm Tanishka, and this is Light and Dark. I am trapped. The walls are dirty, the ground is dusty. The air smells of fear, I am holding back tears, my legs are going numb. I am hurting. The world feels dark and desolate. It has already made its mark on me. The scars are so deep. I muffle a scream, but they continue to bleed. My blood is made of acid. There's suddenly a sound. It fractures the silence, breaks it into a million shards, flying in different directions as it rings through my brain. I feel something other than pain. There is a crack in this trap. The light that slips through it blinds my eyes, but I can still see something that isn't pitch black, endless spiral, ebony torture, something different, something more. Against the scorching heat, a calming chill. I'm not touching it just yet, but I know I will. It is just out of reach. I can wait. The light shines on me, a comforting shower, and suddenly I feel more power simply because I know I can wait. I'm stronger. My scars are still there. My legs are still numb. My body still aches with the hellfires I come from, but I don't have to muffle my screams. Now I have dreams. I feel better. I'm hopeful. The end of strife might take decades or sure, but I will reach this light. I'm sure I will not let this agony chain me to the ground. I'll keep fighting through the suffering so that I can be found. I will not succumb to the darkness. I'm still stuck in this horrid desolation. My mind still in mental isolation, but I feel a new brightness. I feel lighter from this light. It feels as if all of my wrongs have been set into right, even though I still hurt. And my scars haven't gone away. I still have this feeling that I'm going to be okay.
That was a wonderful job by our poet. I really enjoyed the use of juxtaposition throughout her poem, such as the use of scorching heat and chilling wind, and the use of a scream and a dream, as well as the poem itself being called Dark and Locked. So, next up, our next poem with their poet End of the Rainbow is Ritika Danakar-Shaker.
Rewind. August 24th, 2008. It was a day when colors were too glaring to understand, a day when I was delicate to comprehend anything. Life, love, excitement. A day too old to remember, but some do. My parents, my friends, family, friends I didn't know I had. And there I was, born in a room full of lights and the slight smell of disinfectant, born unknowing of what awaits me. Born with a scar that my future is forced to fight. 2009, memories. Memories of my family, friends, traveling. A seashell collection full of memories on the beach, getting sand in places too embarrassing. Our laughter, my laughter, so real, genuine, and full with energy. A laughter that no longer happens every day. 2010, more memories. Memories of falling down the stairs, a bruised elbow, a busted knee, with crying and more crying, a band-aid with tiny pink flowers, a bright wink, TV for hours. I sit there, tears drying, not realizing their love for me, how much they do, just for me, all for me. 2011, 2012, December 5th, 2012, my brother was born. I have to admit, I was jealous of the attention that was now his and not mine. Dramatic as I was, I felt quiet. I learned not to seek attention, to tell myself that there was no reason to speak. 2013, I then turned 5, 2014, 6, 2015, 7, 2016, 8, 2017, 9. 2018, 2 words, double digits. I joke about maturity, how much I've changed. Now that I was 10, I was bulletproof. But I had a scar on my face. It made me feel poisoned, wanted it to go away. People would look at me and ask me what my scar is before my name, look at my scar before my face. A wall of insecurity was built, never to fade. Weak in my own skin as a ghost, a shadow of me. 2019, 2020, pandemic year. First a vacation, then a relief. What a dream. 1 month, 2 months, 3. It felt like time was choking me with its 2 hands until I couldn't breathe, left me with no breath of fresh air, lost the only part of me that ever seemed to care. 2021, 13 years old, now a teen, excited to soon live the high school dream, but no. Stuck at home felt like forever. This all felt like forever. 2022, what happened to my high school musical? 2033, it took time to understand that my pain was my path to heal my insecurities that of course still reside within me. It took people to make me see that my future is mine to own, mine to redeem. Society once broke me, to learn the ways that people harm because it helps them heal, to learn the ways that people stay quiet because that's how they might feel heard. People are my reminder that someone will always listen. Someone will always remind you of your own voice. And one day I hope to be that someone. Someone who inspires people, who inspires the quiet to share their words, like the people in my life who inspired me. People are my motivation. A reminder that they're human, and my reminder that I'm human too.
Thank you so much, Rithika, for that engaging performance. I really loved the way you used so much consistent imagery and how you played with point of view while maintaining a really clear narrative and chronological framework. That was really impressive. And now we're going to be hearing Kashvi Gera recite The Snow.
Yeah, Kashvi!
Snow sucks. Whenever it snows, I feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. My throat starts to cough with anticipation, knowing the awful day ahead of me, of frozen breath, numb knuckles, the salt that doesn't wash away fast enough. It was snowing hard, but it wasn't a snow day. So we go to school. And I hear the GPS yelling at my dad to avoid his usual route, and we shake away the flakes from our boots as we curse the snow together. This hatred for the ice runs in the family, almost genetic, perfectly poetic, and I suffer throughout the day as a block of ice covers every window as if it was mocking me, telling me that it was surrounding me, and that I can't escape its fortress. And now I'd like to introduce you to my friend Hope. The friend you would like to have around, a smile so bright, the Snow White type, has a time of her life. A Disney princess fairy tale, and she prevails as the snow falls. She loves the white frost. And even though she had to change her route too, she is hopeful. Her grin is the size of Mount Everest, and mine is an underground volcano. She couldn't be more excited, delighted by the endless possibilities that I couldn't see. She says to me, "The snow is pretty, don't you think?" And I promised you all, I am not a subject to peer pressure, but she made me think it all again, and I realized I actually love hating the snow. Spending all my energy in its negative feeling, knowing that that feeling would be fleeting. I loved hating the snow. Feeling like a victim to its prey was easier than gaining the strength to fight. I loved hating the snow, creating mental Venn diagram comparisons between the blizzard and a beautiful sunny day just to show myself how awful the snow truly was. I loved hating the snow, feeling like I had the privilege to drown myself into a mood. Whenever the first fleck was seen in the air, I loved hating the snow. The complaints would echo in my head the entire day, and I would just let them. Hope accepts what she has and only yearns for a brighter tomorrow, because the sunshiny days always come after the storm, and I know that too. But hating the snow feels easier than hopes to a beautiful sunny day. And hope isn't the perfect compass when all the odds are against you, when the cold freezes your feet to which you shake and stomp until feeling returns, when your hot coffee cup turns into an iced coffee cube and your lips stick to the styrofoam cup, when the snowman outside is staring at you, judging you maliciously for your inability to see the snow like the rest of us, I imagine it thinks. So I'll just stick to hating the snow.
but I want to feel what hope feels, and I want to see the glimmer of the white sparkle in the snow, all that shimmery, all that wonderful, all that magical that hope feels. But I can't seem to find all that shimmery, magical, wonderful sparkle that she feels. Negativity wins me over every time, pushes me down to a place where hope couldn't dream of. Her positivity is like a beacon, the city upon a hill of which the Puritans wanted. Hope is the star in the night sky, which we all wish upon, and I wish to find that same charm. So why is it so hard for me to see this magical thing? Why do I love to hate the snow? I guess we'll never know.
Once again, another wonderful performance by our poets. I really enjoyed that first line. Snow, in fact, does suck, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong. Anyways, next up, our next poet is Abdullah Rabi, who's presenting her poem, An Enduring Fate.
An Enduring Faith by Atula Rabi. You came from a place of unforgiving authenticity. A city bustling with intense color. The blues and whites of the sky were never dull, colors so vibrant they would pierce into your skull. The sky was a canvas, painted by the hand of a bold painter, leaving a tint of confident strokes behind. A sun dripped in the sweetest honey would send its sticky rays towards the city. What was like needles to the skin of an outsider felt more like a sip of sweet cider to the people of the city, for they thrived in the heat. With sweat-beaded foreheads and backs soaked under the sun, they moved with purpose and an energy contagious to everyone. That is what gives me hope. Quiet was a foreign word to the ears of your hometown. Here, the sounds were always loud, the birds would scream their songs to any crowd, and the waves on the beach roared as they foamed onto the scathingly hot sand that was combed with glass and seashells. And at the center of the seemingly still, but irrevocably alive picture was you. A lanky kid with a pair of thick glasses that always had a reflective glint, leaving a hint of mischief and mystery. You were wound by a yarn of never-ending energy, but were always fastened in place by a needle that laced good morals that could never be erased. Moving through the streets with a jarring lightness, you knew exactly where to go and what you needed. Head high, but you were never conceited. Wanting nothing more than to run through the rubble, hand in hand with the playful trouble, with so much love for the safe bubble of your beautiful city. That is what gives me hope. As you grew older, this city grew on you too, latching onto your very skin from within. You may not be that lanky kid anymore, but a bold look of youth is still at your core. You are never afraid to embrace your true self, and of all the books in your library of lessons, I would like to take that one off the shelf. Your resolute confidence motivates me to walk with my back a bit straighter, believe in myself a little greater. I'm proud to have a father like you. You are my biggest inspiration, and every day you give me more important foundations. Your colorful experiences drive me to create my own kaleidoscope, and that is what gives me hope.
Thank you so much, Atula. I really loved that. You were so delicate while kind of delivering the whole poem, but the way you wove together metaphor and imagery and even that repetition, it really brought together our theme of hope for the night. And now we're going to be hearing from another poet who will be reciting Hope Habits by Emily Shee. Hope Habits by Emily Shee. My brother once taught me this trick, that if you paint with heart, you can preserve anything. For example, his Chinese yo-yos, like two semi-brains embroidered with ropes of clay, became my first still life sketch. On paper, they were never unwaxed, never tried concrete or ceilings, never dyed in oil grease. My brother taught me many things, but I realized there are some things I have to learn by myself. It is late May in the southern part of Taiwan, and I just saw my grandpa's corpse lying delicately in a box, gawks at me, hoping to see his daughter in the US. Do I want to preserve this? Can I? Now I see my grandpa's corpse disintegrating in a furnace. But the bone-picking ceremony turned out to be harder than accepting my grandpa's death.
place a chipping bone into the container, I'd preserve him, but trip over the container, I'd disrespect his entire existence. So, cross-eyed, wielding Chinese chopsticks, the most my deathly afraid American fingers would allow, over into the container. Still, I cannot preserve the smile I had last seen Crease 2 years prior, just out of reach 2 hours prior, no longer existed, and instead I could see the ivory skull that laid underneath it shattered in a tray. Death had stripped right in front of me. Till this day, I am still horrified by that chanting ceremony at Grandpa's funeral. We stood in 2 columns, ordered from Grandpa's oldest son to youngest daughter, followed by his grandkids from oldest son to youngest daughter, and expectedly I was that last, so close to be left behind. But was there a reason I wanted to stay? We were the prideful American grandchildren, yet forced into heavy traditional Buddhist black robes, donned with scriptures, bombarded with Chinese characters that read nothing but squiggles to me, and still I was expected to chant along. How can an American heart preserve a Chinese spirit? Words I could not recognize as Mandarin spewed out spasmodically like machine gun bullets, scaring me as an old woman facing me too started to chant unintelligibly in a seizure-like manner, and soon the entire matrix of strange heads was convulsing. It was the hardest I ever had to hold in my laughter. Perhaps out of fear that they had vandalized my American pride, I cannot preserve anything. My brother taught me this trick, that if you paint anything with heart, you can preserve it. This became my favorite game. May the people I love stay smiling. May my future backstabbers sprawl over my canvas like spring picnickers. May my fingers knead and knead and knead my eraser until it eats itself and lead infiltrates itself and it comes back alive to carve the figments of my reality. I am a well-versed plastic surgeon now. I play with words. I play with shadows. Every day, rip through my layers of paint and you would find a sick remodeling of memories I saved from disintegration, accumulation, over, so that they seem more real. When I was little, I developed a selective mutism. Ideas squirmed at the pit of my throat. Mental paintings fermented words at the pit of my mind, but they did not match, so I would not speak. Would you spit it out already? Accumulation, over, shut up. Every artwork, every what's taking you so long? Come on kid, hurry up. If I were you, I would take max 3 hours is a disgusting reality of my inability to let go. My brother taught me many things. And now, I am a Carnegie Mellon t-shirt gypsy. I paint like I wear my t-shirts. That if I wear my t-shirts enough times, my brother can be here with me. That if I wear them enough times, they can broadcast my scientific dreams. I see the irony, but I cannot let go of a dream, because hope is not sick. Art can be a beautiful refinement and keepsake in your pocket, a preservation not of memory, but of belief. And I believe I can speak. May 9th, 2019, I heard that even when Grandpa's heart rate monitor flatlined into a crisp monotone, my uncle held his coarse fingers, crying, "Bob, we'll visit Beijing in America. How about that?" And though his heart no longer beat for life, his jaw moved up, down, up, again.
You know, Emily, you said you play with words, but it felt like you were playing with fire from your really use of momentum and your incredible control over imagery and rhythm. It had me gripped from beginning to end. And I'm sure all of you are really excited to hear more of our poets. However, that was actually the final poet of our first half. So now, can we give a round of applause for all our amazing poets? We're going to continue with a 10-minute intermission before we finish up with our next round of poetry, so we'll see you soon.
Well now, let's get ready for the second half of our show. To get things started again, we have Tanishka Dhake with her poem, Red.
Hello everyone, I'm Tanishka, and this is Red. If I had to dance with a word, I'd dance with hope. Because hope's what keeps you dancing in the dark when the bark is shocking and the bite is of the shark. Hope's the little baby bird that fell out of the nest on the maple tennis rackets and ladders used to lift it back up. Hope's a warm sweater and cooking around the fireplace when Hurricane Sandy brought the place to its knees. No electricity, singing in circles, a choir together, close to the ground but with the strength to get back up. Hope is the sunrise, yellow like French fries searing across the sky. Hope's dancing in the rain, not waiting for it to pass, hair flying into a mess right on with the birds. Hope's on a little road I saw on a stroll once. When I was walking down a road, there was far too much slippery ice there, but it's a quiet road. Used to be filled, car honks, hope, walking, lights, but it's a quiet road. Now filled with silence, and on that quiet road, there's a little yard, filled with snow, bleak, blank snow, and there's a bit of color. The green of the evergreens, the blue of the trampoline, and the yellow of the slide, and the pink of the swing. And that's all the food coloring and frosting colors, but there's a drop of vivid, of red. Off the porch there is a little bush, leaves hanging on, and one rosebud, just one, against the frigid, thick, heavy snow. But it's one. And you think it's a fire because it's a red, like a pomegranate plus beetroot, like blood coursing through veins, like rage and love running through a mind, wind blowing on this fire from behind. Red. And there's snow around it like the snow wants to choke it, but that bud's still blooming red. And it's a little tiny, but at minus 10 degrees, and we're too scared to leave. This beacon of a bud's booming with a radiant red, hoping that one day we'll stand with it. That one day we'll not fear here. That together we will be free from here. Red roses in the snow, blooming with red, warm hope. Thank you.
Tanishka, that was a really wonderful poem. I love the way you used hand gestures, volume variation, and you really brought the speaker in your poem to life to the point where it felt like music. And now we're going to continue our wonderful poetry with Nandita Anandkumar, who will be reciting Physical Reality.
This is Nandita performing Physical Reality. 15, he slams his door, head on wall, ignores his best for the test he needed to persist for, and he abandons his dreams, floating around in his psyche. He is likely to squash them down, equations overpowering his developing brain, feigning no tiredness or pain. He never ate at the right time, remains in a trance until 8 at. He throws open a textbook, throws away his happiness for the next look. 45. To tell his daughter that he sacrificed everything at her age. Because to him, his dreams were those of cricket balls, summer nights with his cousins, lying on a mat in the village, playing a run-down version of kabaddi. He felt the smile lingering on his lips. His dreams remained in his homeland, stored in his childhood, as fresh as the dew falling from the banana leaves at home. He had two homes, his physical reality, flesh and blood and bone, and his hidden unity, whimsical and wondrous and wavering, and he'd known that the rose-tinted glasses he'd wear would shatter. He'd let the rising dust from the ground settle into his eyes. He needed a better driving factor. He told his 15-year-old daughter that he'd sacrificed everything at her age for it to become something. And when he was alone, phone unanswered, change in his tone, no one to owe, he openly wanted everything he never had for his daughter. Opportunity. 45. He drove out of his illusions and onto his driveway, his dreams circling around the universe and staying resilient in the face of the sun. Coming back home, he faced his son. His mirror image, his mirage, steady sessions at the dining table took him back to his notes and childhood room that kept his secrets, just like his aim. His notes remained scattered all over his working desk, mundane. He realized how badly he needed them now. Unlike when he brushed them away, he didn't realize every 100 on an exam was his stepping stone to reach the clouds, the very own clouds that he flew through to reach me and you. He fed those scraps to his daughter during dinner, until she began to believe them too. You are what you eat. And she began consumed with the visions of illusions from her father's disillusioned eyes. Every day he worked, he pushed, he fought for his reality, physical reality, blood, flesh, bone. He lived vicariously through his daughter, pushed her even harder, hidden unity, whimsical, wondrous, wavering. 15, the innocence buried underneath the black of his eyes tinged everything that he did. He was a red rose destined to grow out of the crack in the sidewalk. His thorns fought for their place on that sidewalk crack, but he wanted more for himself, more than the streets of Chennai had to offer. And though he beat his remaining fantasies, he beat the future of staying in his town forever. 29. He married their mother as soon as he saw her, named her daughter after everything he had ever wanted, hope. They passed on their black hair, black eyes, brown skin to their daughter. He unknowingly passed down his lingering aspirations that took his perspiration. His daughter nurtured his desires with a fire in her belly. They landed in New Jersey, Princeton University, a landmark of all the faith they put in their baby. Her cries of "Appa" ignited something in him that night. 45. He watched her trace his footsteps all the way back to his childhood. He went back home with them. He saw all that he sacrificed for, the labor of fruition. He wanted his daughter to walk through the orchard, walk forward at her command, manned by that sheer desire. And in the tiny corner of his desk, a bulky object caught his eye. He saw the textbook that he read so furiously and gave her a secret key. 15. I wake up out of my hazy days and I took the same hope from him, that I leaf through the pages I take out from his book and paste those same pages into my very own scrapbook of morals. I construct the orchard tree by tree, the seeds note my development, and I slam into my very now own here, now, and forever. And then he walks into my very own blood, flesh, bone, physical reality. Thank you.
That was a wonderful job by our last poet. I really enjoyed her passion that she showed throughout her poem, especially her gestures and her tone throughout it. I also enjoyed the contrast between the very hard, gruesome, and rough physical reality that she showed, and the dream world, which was much more whimsical and mystical. Next up, we have our Harshini Asukumar with her poem, The Vaccine of Hope. Hope you enjoy.
Go Harshini!
Hurry! Hurry, the nurses scream. A ring surges ears as the ambulance rolls into the parking lot where they dump a young girl's body out, so lifeless. It appears as though she is dead. They rush her cart through eyes of suffering patients, aching bodies, looks of those staring, all staring as she begins. Wheezing, she opens her mouth in an attempt to speak, but no sound comes out. Her hands reach upwards in an attempt to scoop air, but her eyes widen, terrified at the loss of her voice, sound, power, joy. The doctors are appalled as they exclaim, "Stay with us, keep pushing," but she can't keep pushing. For every time she pushes herself deeper and deeper down in endless, old despair. With a thud, the cart hits the wall. A click, a slam, a scream. Run the test, now the surgeons demand. They're nearly out of breath. The lab has identified bruises of blue and black on her upper left, cuts on her lower right that appear to be the sharp teeth, claw marks till the ends of her legs. You see, this was injuries done by vicious cats, who she had once hoped would welcome her with warm and open arms. She begins to fade. Despite the violent thrust, her eyes close away and take her to a place long, long ago where there was a child with the whitest smiles and brown, warm hands who craved to embrace. Her neighbors, her dogs, her cats, her parents, but that all changed when she entered a world full of desks and they all looked at her with such distaste. Oh, how she wishes she could erase the memories of when she raised her hand and produced the most vibrant wave. She was met with looks of distaste, malicious stares, vicious glares, her classmates' hands barely moving a bit back. So as her classmates scratched with insults, punched with hates, kicked with punch and hate, she felt herself slowly, slowly drip away. Surrounded by dislike, she felt choked of her own sound. Now void of her bright laugh, her body lost its spark. The creatures with their blank stares and absent hands had burned her beautiful, beautiful skin under a flame of spite. No time to waste. Administer the vaccine of hope. Administer it now, the doctor shrieked. And then, a crunch. Hope flares through her nervous system, through her blood, upper muscles, inner blood, all the way to her brain. Hope numbs her body of the pain of loneliness. A snap, a twist, a jolt. Her eyes snap open, her body jerks forward. She looks around, alarmed, confused, and all to suddenly stop at the sight of a classmate outside the room's windows. Was it a dream? Her classmate's hands started moving upwards. No, it couldn't possibly be. Her classmate's fingers spread apart. This wasn't happening, this wasn't real. And then, her classmate produced the most vibrant wave she had ever seen. And as her classmate entered and extended her hand to the once sickly patient, whose skin now shined brighter than ever before, she smiled, as hope had heard her. Her thoughts, her prayers, her beliefs, that she would find a friend that accepted her for all her insecurities, differences, accepted her as who she is, into a world of love, joy, diversity, excellence, and waved back. Thank you.
Harshini, the emotion in your voice was insane. The hysteria, the visceral emotion, all of it. I love the way you brought to life the dichotomies that come with the miracle of birth and rebirth. And now, to continue, we will be hearing from Sneho Ghosh, who will be reciting the poem, All Mistakes.
Swollen cheeks, burning eyes, stomach knots. Something's wrong. I made something wrong. I swallowed in my regret, knowing I'd only be suppressing it longer. We all make mistakes, scarring one in ways unseen. But I saw something shimmering in the deep waters, tempting, not attempting to make me heal, but to scurry my tears further deep inside. Under the seas I dove, hiding from what had just occurred, hidden like the anger you have, like the pain they add, like the misery you hold, like the fear I hold, deep, deep inside. All hidden. Delicate voices, exulting scenery, swaying blue waves, sobbing ups and downs like I do. Guess we all make mistakes. So I guess I'm fine? Knowing my soul had been taken away, they say it's too broken to be put on display, rolled away like it was normal due to my lack of obedience. I'm sorry, I am sorry for everything. I had no point in life, I needed nothing as nothing would heal. My heart won't sit in my chest correctly, it's beating too fast, too much change, too little time. I need air. One breath for those who have lost, one breath for those who have given up, one breath for those who didn't get the message in time. And one deep breath for you. Thunder, lightning, a booming crash, a deafening splash, then silence. A beam of light shining straight for me, a good one this time, brighter than sun's UV rays screaming, you've got this, be braver. But it never said who it was from. I want to thank whoever got me the light, who made me all right, but there's no one in sight. I could feel my bones again, not all rigid, but to say, hands up, stand up, rise up. You've done it. I had to tell others there was still hope. We just needed to cope with pain. We need to stay sane. I could only tell this to people, but only they would have to believe it. We all make a mistake if we don't see the light, knowing we are all survivors, fighting through every battle fought, smiling through every crushing pain, learning through every lesson taught. Every day you and I pray in every possible way to laugh and love. So when we can't find a grip in the road, trip over a bump, skim our knees, rip our jeans and bleed, look up for the light and hand to guide you and live. Thank you.
Once again, another wonderful performance by our poets. I really enjoyed the use of water throughout, which first off it was shown off by the sea with its mystery and unknown, and then shown off by the storm, which was a lot more violent, and then comes the light at the very end that enlightens and shuts out all the mystery. So, our next poet for the day will be Ida Jiao with her poem, My Brother and Tiffany.
My Brother and Tiffany by Ida Jiao. Dear Tiffany, you don't remember me, but I remember you. I do, I swear. Your Harry Potter glasses and swept back black hair and that's about it, I guess. The rest is just a blur, but I'm sure you wouldn't mind. After all, I just pray you're doing fine. I'm grateful, you know, though you came mid-grade and we never made contact, never exchanged a hey, how are you? I'm grateful because you demonstrated the genius way you roll up your earbuds. A tweak, a twist, a turn of wrist and finger, and voila, a tight coil of plug and string. Light bulbs, fire, I think my heart skipped a flicker. We all admired your invention, a wonder of wire, the wonder of your mind. In that moment, I had a vision. You were the next high IQ Nikola Tesla to me. I believed you'd be someday. Dear Tiffany, I tried to show the trick to my mother, but she was an afterimage, a flurry of pills careening around the kitchen, trying to smother sparks from the stove and my screaming brother. My brother, who cannot eat without pain, who does not know how to freely speak, who's impervious to the flow of the typical order of things. It wasn't always this bad. We used to be close, but now there's a meltdown after every meal, the squeal of a banshee clawing its way up from his gut, past his teeth with a shriek that's acidic to my heart, his arm bulldozing the art supplies off the tables. I slam my room door locked. I breathe, breathe, be patient. They say to be patient. They break their backs for costly treatment so that one day he'll be better enough to eat anything he wants. One distant, hazy, ill-shaped island day. I wait out the thunder. I stare out the window. The sun sets in the west, like it does, and it'll always do. Dear Tiffany, the day you left us for North Korea, all the visions I had of your future dissolved like the $1,000 pills my brother dumped down the sink. That country on the brink, you in that country, I've heard things acidic to my heart that slash through my mind like the ceramic he throws, shredding ribbons out of feet, watching you lost to the red-bathed, tear-lined horror of a rotten dream, stories of mouths stretched with fear, stretched like banshees, like the skin on his bones, gunshots endless like the clattering, shattering I hear day and night in my sight. Those stories were becoming your reality. A roadblock to your future as impenetrable as my locked door. Even so, I don't know why, but I'm expecting a reply that you're okay any day now. I'm expecting the sun to rise from the west and set in the east. But you know what they say about expecting. They say, don't expect anything from him. You'll always be disappointed. Dear Tiffany, when will things get better? My mom prays daily and says, just hold on, he's the reason she holds on. I don't know why I hold on. Ever wish you'd stayed? Do you also hear the banshees every day? What should I do? You know, with that wonder of your mind. Please reply soon, Tiffany. Dear Tiffany, I'm a sailor spanning maydays from a sinking wreck. I'm waiting for the sun to rise from the west, but it isn't rising, Tiffany. You're not replying, Tiffany. I don't know what to do. Tiffany, I'm done waiting for you, Tiffany. Dear Tiffany, I'm in my locked room. There's clattering, shattering, ceramic on tile, bone on tile, screaming. My gosh, all they do is scream like banshees, like the sun is lodged in their necks. The worst thing is the screaming. And then a woeful sound, a single resounding wail, blue with sorrow, shrill with red, hot pain, seizing in me, a being hidden for years. I unlock the door and there is my brother in tears. I stride to him, a landslide shaking the ground layer of my heart. I don't care about the art supplies, don't care, we've grown apart. I embrace his bony frame, his shoulders that he lacks, and he hugs me back. An explosion of plasma like daybreak breaks through the smoky, ill-shaped haze. The fog relents, the distant island shakes into existence, materializes particle by particle of feathery gold sand, our giggles condensing into drizzles, pale rainbows, dotting the sky, trees singing restless in the sky where the sun rises from the west and it's gone. The throb in my soul, the sugar rush of love is gone. But hugging him, I hold on, and I know why. Dear Tiffany, for now, this is goodbye. Don't worry, I'll write now and then, but now I'm gonna try to mend what has been too long broken, as I've finally found my reason. It may never heal and the sun may never change direction, but what can we do? My wish is for you to become a better Nicole or whoever. A wish for you and him and me, sincerely.
You know, Edith, that looked like a really difficult and complex piece to perform, but it was so rich to follow, from the pacing to the rhythm to the blurring of past and present. They all developed such real emotions that were both conveyed and evoked. And now, to continue our poetry train, we will be hearing from Annika Santhanam, who will be reciting Love and Loss.
I'm Annika Santhanam, and this is my poem, Love and Loss. The grass grows tall, up through my rib cage where my heart used to be. It's barren now, nothing left save for the vegetation of the world, along with an element that always seems to remain in the aftermath of chaos since the times of Prometheus and Pandora. That element is made for fools. It's a silent killer. It's the thing that allows you to trust the wrong person, to fall for them even, thinking they could be the one to bring you comfort, revitalize your soul. It's the thing that keeps you there, waiting for that person to change, to be the one you want them to be, no matter how high your standards lie. It's all that remains months later, when the flesh of your heart has rotted, when your cold and barren bones lie alone, brittled by time, on the verge of collapse. I want it to die, this element. 4 letters being the bane of my existence. It's made for fools. It makes you think the manifestation of your fantasies is right around the corner. It keeps you holding on to a reality that will never be, at least not in this universe or timeline. It leads you astray. It canvases your mind and makes you dream, spiral, obsess, wish, scream, suffer, then withdraw. I don't have it anymore, or at least I try not to. I've been hurt before by having it, wishing things would change, waiting for them to improve. All I got was entrapment in this forest, the grass shooting up through my ribcage where my heart used to be. It's quiet now. The sun rises on the horizon, but something stirs. A rustle here, a slithering of vines there, something seems to have been planted, growing ever so slightly, and in a few short months, it blooms. Flowers, growing where my heart used to be. Whose fault is it but yours? You, who inspired me to open up again. You, who showed me my past isn't my current definition. You, who brought joy and laughter in a time when I thought I didn't deserve it. You, who brought me hope. Hope to fall in deep without fear of hitting the bottom. Hope to lend my heart to yours and let you be part of mine. Hope to live a little, consequences be damned. Hope to finally be loved. Maybe hope is a fool's element, but so is love. And if they go hand in hand, then a fool I must be. Thank you.
Once again, another wonderful performance by our poets. I really enjoyed the use of nature throughout the poem. At the beginning, with her chest being, the character being very lifeless, but still having life within her, with the plants, that really shows off how she used to trust in the past, and then later on became very pessimistic. And then returning back to that point with the flowers blooming to show that she once again has gained trust for people.
And now that everyone today has delivered their poems on hope, can we please give them all one round of applause? And so, now that all of our student poets have performed, we're going to give a little bit of time to our judges and our student volunteers so that they can calculate the scores. So in the meantime, please enjoy this short poetry performance clip.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the results are now in. We would like to invite all our poets to come and step forward.
Come all the way down. Before we get to actually announcing the winner, though, we are going to have the wonderful Mr. Kaczynski, Poetry Performance Club Advisor, come on stage to say a few words.
Thank you. I know we have a few words. I just want to do some thank yous to everyone here because this was such a wonderful night and it couldn't have been possible without a lot of people on this list. So first and foremost, to all of our poets who really poured their heart into their words. They took the courage to come up here and they did such a beautiful job. To all the members of the Poetry Performance Club who helped set things up, set up a wonderful spread that's in the library that we encourage you to stay for, and build up this energy around the school that brought so many of you out. Of course, to our administration, Ms. Quick, Mr. Robinson, who helped me find so many chairs around the building. to our custodians for helping set up and move said chairs, for our teachers and faculty for coming out to support, for spreading the word, of course to our wonderful audience who makes this so much more special when there's someone here to listen and share the stage while they're putting their wonderful words out there. The JP techies in the back helping us with all the lights, the mics, and all of the sound. Of course, our wonderful judges. Let's give it up to them one more time. And then lastly, to our MCs and talliers for hosting and getting us through this night. Thank you guys so much. And with that, the moment we've all been waiting for, we have Ella to announce our third place winner.
And our third place $50 winner for the JPS Poetry Slam is Kashvi Guerra. Congratulations.
And our second place $100 winner for the JP Stevens Poetry Slam for 2023 is Emily Shee.
And finally, our first place $150 winner for the 2023 JP Stevens Poetry Slam is Edith Zhao. All right, let's have one final round of applause for all of our poets. Thank you all so very much for attending our event. Please join us in the library for some refreshments, and thanks FCCLA for helping set up the spread and the wonderful cake that's very big, so everyone needs to help. And of course, the Poetry Performance Club, who also donated a lot of food and helped set up as well. Thank you again for coming, and have a wonderful evening.